everyone. Welcome back to the Shade of It All. I'm
Hi, y'all.
Brandon.
I'm Magdala. Oh, I don't have my microphone.
Oh my gosh. I thought something fell off. That's funny.
I kind of like it, like being a little ball, but then
Oh
it's
yeah.
not up to my face.
Maggie got her mic. She's prepared now.
Brandon and I used to have matching mics, and then he went all California on me and got.
Look, this isn't even that. This was like a Christmas deal. This
So
is not even
my
crazy.
my way to poke fun at Brandon is my guy. He is a resourceful dude, but he buys stuff that he already has.
Like what?
Typically, someone will buy something when they need it, you know? Like, oh,
Hmm.
this camera is broken. I need a new one. Brandon has like five vlogging cameras, two regular cameras. And how I know this, one day we were hanging out with Astra and he comes over with like a nice ass camera and he's like, yeah, it was in my closet. I forgot I had it. And I haven't seen that camera since. It's probably
Look.
back in the closet.
That camera is
Oh.
something I forgot I had. It was my original camera I used when I first took pictures, when I think I first started my YouTube channel, or maybe I got a new one for that. I don't know, but it was in my
Point
closet.
exactly. You just proved my point.
That's from like
Don't
5 years
say anything else.
ago. It's like 5 years old.
But it's a nice ass camera. I don't
I
know what kind of
know.
camera it is, but it's not, like I've seen people, professional photographers with that camera, maybe different lenses and stuff, but that's a nice camera and it's in your closet just sitting. It's just funny
Look,
to me. The
you
poor
know,
the poor people like me
oh my God, here we
don't
go.
move in such a way.
You know what, Maggie? You buy stuff too.
I buy stuff when I need stuff. It's just funny. Like I was telling Brandon, I bet you have another webcam for me to use, and he doesn't. So he doesn't buy the extra stuff that would be beneficial for me, but it's fine.
Oh, so Maggie's real problem is I don't buy her one as well, as if this is BOGO.
No, no, no.
Look,
If anything, I'm defending you now because that's one thing that you don't have two of.
this is true. Well, I just bought this new webcam just because the MacBook webcam sucks. So I was just like, I
Yeah,
need a
I
new
really need a
one.
new one. If you're on YouTube, I'm sorry. I know I look like it's not as crisp and clear as Brandon's. Granted, actually, your Mac camera was fine. If I look back, I bet we could put this side by side and see, but pretty sure you were fine.
It was okay because
It wasn't as bad as mine.
I had like a really bright ring light, and now this one has a ring light, but it's not as bright, so it doesn't irritate me as much. I feel like I don't get as hot. I don't know. It was just a lot going on. This is just easier and better for me. Sometimes you just gotta buy
I get it.
stuff to bring
Yeah.
yourself peace
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
tranquility, and so you can prosper.
I get it.
Um,
I just bet that you could, if we had an eBay garage sale of Brandon's miscellaneous electronics, you could probably make a band, maybe more.
I probably could make a little bit at least because I do
Oh,
have quite a few. Because I have
define a
that
little
camera
bit.
and then like two other cameras that are kind of
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to, I don't know. I have an issue. Okay, I buy new things sometimes when when I
Yeah.
want to.
The first
I'm
step is
flawed. I'm
denial.
flawed. I
And
have
then a couple steps
flaws.
later is acceptance. I love this for you.
I don't
I
have
love
many
it.
flaws, but I have some. Like Jesus. Anyways, enough of this. I've had a
Uh,
rough enough day being day one of clothes. I don't need to be
uh,
attacked by
explain
one of my
explain
best
for the
friends.
non-accountants what this means. What is day one of close?
Day one of
Like, what is
clothes.
closing? Let's define close first.
Like closing
A
the
book.
books, the financial books, and posting
Hmm.
entries and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much every
Entries
month,
for what?
like a bunch of different entries, like inventory entries,
Internal expenses or external expenses?
all of the above.
Oh, wow.
Things you
Okay.
need to,
Like a
book.
light bill?
Sure.
Shipping
Well,
costs? Describe it.
that can be part. There's a bunch of different things. And like for me today, like I booked inventory stuff to match manufacturings
Okay. Okay.
books. That's one thing, but that's something that takes all day. And close is a 3-day process, and it's basically the first 3 days of the month to close the prior month's books. It's super fun. It's super interesting. It's the best thing ever. Maggie would have had this life, but she abandoned me because if there's one thing Maggie's gonna do is change her mind.
I'm so fickle. I'll say it first. I'm so fickle. Let's walk them through what happened today.
Oh,
So
yeah. What did
today,
happen today? Because backstory, it's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock. We've recorded this late before. We usually
yeah,
record at like 8:30, so it's really not
right.
that much later. But
No.
I had told Maggie because day one of close is like my latest day, and I'm usually dead by the end. Sometimes it's later than usual. Today happened to be a day where it wasn't as late and it went smoothly. So it's
Yes.
like we can still, I always said from the jump, I was like, let's plan for 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But if something happens, we can record Thursday.
And I sat on it the whole day. I was like, okay, 9 or Thursday. Those are the two options. I said, okay, Brandon, let me know by 4 p.m. Because why did I want? Oh, because I needed to watch the episode. I don't have cable, so I can't watch it live.
Mm.
Or the Bravo app, or the whatever the apps are. I don't have them, so I don't watch them live. I watch it on Peacock, and so I wanted him to let me know by 4 p.m. so I could plan my evening. Well, I finally finished the semester, the academic semester for
You finished
Magdala.
both papers?
I had, yes.
Oh my God. Are you lying to me?
No, I did. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
And I got A's on both. I definitely
Thank
passed
God.
the class.
Oh
She
my
gave me a
gosh.
hundred
Yeah.
percent, which is kind of wild. I
So
was
she didn't
like,
read them. She was like, you just threw them in. She was
bro,
like 100. She finally did it.
I hate to be that person, but it's a little, just a smidge annoying because I put in a decent amount of time and effort,
Right.
and for
So
you
it's
to
like,
just give me 100,
at
you
least
know,
give me a 90. So
we're
it's
we're
as if you like read it.
there's additional issues here. So the problem is at the beginning of the semester, she was grading kind of tough. My first paper, I got an 85. So for this class, I had a paper basically due every single week with, and I could miss like one. And then obviously out of 100 points is 1,000 words about whatever we had to read that week. Very long, drawn out readings. She grades the first one kind of tough. The first one I got an 85 with some legit comments because I didn't know what I was doing. We go to class and everybody is like, so how do I write it? And your grading was kind of tough and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, are you serious? Like, you guys are like, this is a PhD. Some people are getting their masters. Some people are getting their PhD. Like, this is a
Y'all should
academic.
know how to write a paper.
Yeah. So I was like, are they really saying she great? Like, would you get an F? I know you didn't get an F, And she's like, well, this is the rubric, blah blah blah, and they're like, and then the guy, one guy was like, but still, the way it was graded, I thought I did that, and she's like, okay, well then I don't want to grade. Like she was just like, what do you want? And I think since
Clearly, you
then,
didn't do it well enough, sir.
right, like they were really like, you know, because she's like, I don't want the way I grade to stop you from writing a good paper, which is essentially what the other kids were saying, which I thought was wild. Like, just stay on
Yeah,
task. And then one guy was like, how should I write? And I was like, y'all are doing entirely too much. You haven't, I don't
right.
know. I just thought it was crazy. And with this class, you kind of, there's something to do every week. You kind of write more than normal. And so I think since then, she's kind of been checked out and just been grading really lightly, which is fine. It's just that one day I will have to write things that will be critiqued heavily. So
Right.
it'd be great to get some feedback
A
like, hey,
little bit of,
Maxilla,
yeah.
yeah, before I do my dissertation and they throw it away and they're like, you're illiterate, bitch. Like I would like a little bit of feedback, but I'm not gonna complain because I passed the class. So I'm not gonna
It's
email
true.
her and be like, can you? No. Done. It's
Hmm.
over. Class is over. I'll probably never see that lady again. It's fine.
No.
But the my problem is I'm a terrible procrastinator. And then like 2 weeks ago, y'all know, I was talking
She
about how I
is.
went to Dreamville. And this was the paper due after Dreamville that I just, oh, because then I went to Atlanta for work. So I've just been so busy. So the other day I stayed up all night. I went to work. logged off around my normal time, took a nap, went to the gym with Brandon, I think. Was it Monday? I don't know which day.
We
We were at
did
the gym.
we did go Monday.
Okay.
Hmm.
So went to the gym with Brandon and then I just stayed up all night and finished two papers. So the
Oh
big
yeah.
one, which was started, and then the small one, which I really didn't start at all. I wrote until like seven. It was 6:30 in the morning. I stayed up all night. So that's part of why today was hard because that was technically yesterday. So last night I got a decent amount of sleep, but like still feel kind of tired from not sleeping a whole night. So today while Brandon was like, "Oh, I'm not sure. I'll let you know by 4." I was kind of like waxing and waning. You know those days where you have to work and you're just like feeling tired, like and feeling
Hmm.
kind of like lethargic, a little like
Yeah.
unproductive, you know? And so I was doing stuff, but I was waxing and waning a bit. So I didn't get as much as I wanted to done. And so then I could have just said, "Hey Brandon, I don't think I'm gonna finish everything." But my Delulu brain thinks I can. So cause I signed up for F45. That's the other thing that kind of I think I'm just gonna stop signing up for classes because you get stuck. If you if you sign if you sign up for a class today, you have 8 hours before that class to decide to not sign up, or
Yeah.
you'll get penalized. You'll get charged $10.
Well, I would argue you could probably sign up now that you're done with your class because I feel like a lot of it was just your class
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Not really personal stuff or the occasional day where I'm late for like running late, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I would have just not gone because I was like, I need to do stuff, but I went. But it, so I texted Brandon like, "Hey, I have a decent amount of stuff to do for work. Can we do tomorrow?" And he's like, "But we already I literally you did it right. You at the beginning of the day look at your day and you're like, I might not do something. Me, I wait till the end of my day, look see how I feel and I'm like, yeah, I can't do it." And he's
Well,
like,
because I my thing was just like from the beginning, from days ago when we mentioned recording, I was like, let's plan for
"Oh,
9,
yeah.
but if something
See?
changes, we can fall back. And Maggie was always, we can do
Okay,
both. I can do either.
I'm fine.
Which she
I'm
did that
good.
with
I'm Gucci.
F45 the
I'm
other day
good."
too, because she was like,
Literally.
we were like, what was it? Because we were signing up for classes, and I was like,
Yeah.
let's do 6:30. And you were like, I prefer to do 5:30, but we can do 6:30 if we want.
And
And
then
I was
on the
like,
day of, I was like, we
and then,
gotta do
and so
6:30.
we ended up switching. And then when we got there, she was like, I actually could have done 5:30. So I was just like, you know what? Anyways, so
I'm a terrible planner. I just don't think ahead.
at 4 on the dot, I did 4:01. I said, I can record tonight. I could even do 8 if you're able.
You
And then
know what's
she's
so
like,
funny?
9 is best for me. And I was like, okay.
Later on, I looked at that text and I was like, did he really text me at 4? And he did. I was like, let me know by 4. I was like, shit, I can't get out of this. But I did try. I was like, Brandon, can we do it tomorrow? He's like, Maggie, I'm ready today. And I'm like, okay. But it's fine.
I
I
was,
essentially
I was expecting a little pushback, but you did it. So I was like, okay.
I was expecting you to ask me if I was sure.
I was like, no, I'm gonna fight for what I want and what I think is right. And what I think is right is this
the
recording tonight.
the okay, sure was I felt I was like but I'm actually really happy that we're doing it today because then I can have a free evening tomorrow.
That part. And we're going to class tomorrow. We're
Oh,
still
we
going,
are?
right?
True.
6:30.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
6:30. It's the later time. It should work. We usually do 6:30 on Thursdays.
Yeah, with our favorite person in the world. Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we're
There
doing
is an
upper body. Ooh.
up. Oh yeah, that'll be good because there was a lot of lower today. Today
Yeah.
was hit, so it's just, general miserable. But
Oh
there is
God.
literally a F45 angel. Her name is
Mm-hmm.
Jen, and she's literally one of the nicest people I've ever met. And it's
She is.
so refreshing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those people, you meet them and they don't have to do a lot to prove that they're genuine. That's her.
Yeah. She's very just nice. And it's like
So
natural. It's
nice.
her. She's just a nice
Yeah.
person. It's
Yeah,
authentic.
It doesn't feel like she's trying hard at all. Like the first day I met her, she was like, "What do you like to be called?" And I'm like, "Magdala." And then she's like, "Do you have a nickname?" I'm like, "Some people call me Maggie." And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't. I'm a pushover for sure." So I was about to let her call me Maggie, and then she was like, "But what do you like to be called?" And I was like, "I prefer Magdala." And she's like, "Okay, great." And then like since she's just always been like really attentive, when Brandon signed up, I was like, "Oh, I have a friend coming. He wants to sign up." She wasn't working that day and came to the class just to meet Brandon.
She did.
She
And she
was like,
helped me out a
"Yeah."
little bit. It was nice.
It was so nice. Like, and then she's always making jokes with us. It's like she wants to have like a connection with us. You could tell. Even when I'm late and I don't have a chance to say hi to her during the workout, she'll come give me a fist bump, say, "Good job,
Hmm.
Magdala." Like
We're her
always hyping me
fave.
up. I really think we
I think we
are.
are because
I
she's
love
nice to
being
everyone, but like it's different.
it hits different with us.
It
Yeah.
does.
She's so stinging nice. And then like one day I wasn't feeling good and we have this app because we did this challenge. So like we were all in this group chat and she messaged me independently and was like, "Are you feeling better?" The next
Oh.
day, I was like, "My man who I live with has not asked me if I'm feeling better." You're so nice. You're so nice.
Oh, that is
And
funny.
you know what? This
Oh,
transitions a little bit. I want us to discuss the episode in order,
okay.
but I will say that I love this change of pace between Tom Sandoval and Dan. That guy is a night like you can there are a lot of times when people break up and get with someone really quickly, you see like oh they look alike or they act alike. Night and day. They are
I
two different
like
people.
Dan.
I
Dan
love
Dan
Dan.
seems chill. I've seen some stuff, like some podcasters seem to be questioning because he doesn't seem engaged and he won't like film with the group or like give much. But
I
my
think
thing is,
that's
I
healthy.
think that's a good sign. I'm like,
Yeah. He's not here for
because if he was
clout.
too much, they would be like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to be involved, like red flag, da da da." But
Mm-hmm.
he's giving nothing, and I'm like, and I will say, and Lala kind of said this in a rude way, that it's weird that he would want to get with Ariana so quickly after her situation. Which, okay,
Mm,
I can get that to an extent.
we can talk about it.
Yeah, like I get that perspective, but I don't know, just seeing it, I'm like, oh, it just seems like a genuine like they like each other, and it's not like it's serious, but it's not like that like I don't know. I feel like they're just
Yeah.
they like each other, they're making it work. And
Yeah.
that just it is what it is.
It seems like a healthy
Yeah.
relationship.
I
Like,
think, and who knows? Who knows if it's gonna last forever. But for right
yeah,
now, it seems chill. So I'm
that's
like, you know
fine. It
what?
doesn't need to,
That
you know?
part. But before we jump into the episode, I did want to address, did you see I sent it on Instagram to
Oh,
you, the
yeah.
recent news that Vanderpump Rules is going to be on pause.
They didn't
Ooh.
even say how long.
They didn't. I mean, this is pretty common for shows. Like, Bravo fans are so funny because whenever they like hear stuff like this, they're like, that means it's gonna get canceled or like we're never gonna get it. Because
Yeah.
that did happen once, I guess, with well, no, because that didn't even happen with New York. New York, they just rebooted it. But the Housewives. But for this, it's like I think Jersey's done this. Sometimes, like, this is actually how it used to be done with a lot of shows. They would have like a decent amount of time off before they jumped into the next season. So
Yeah.
that way, like, things happen. With Vanderpump, not so much, I guess, because they would always film in the summer. But it's being reported that they're gonna not like film in the summer. They're gonna wait a few months, I guess. So I guess
Hmm.
maybe the idea is to film in the fall, maybe winter or something, which would be different. I think that's good
Yeah.
change. And
I
given
mean,
this
the seasons
season,
really don't matter.
that part
The
too.
time of year, yeah.
And it's just like it just gives them time because clearly, like they really rushed into filming this season, which I got because of Scandival. They wanted to get that
Yeah.
aftermath, but really, like they need to breathe because it does not make sense given how the cast hates each other
Yeah.
to like jump into like, oh,
They're
let's
exhausted.
film.
Let's give them a break. Because, okay, so the article Brandon sent me said, "We're told producers want to let the cast do their own thing for a bit without jumping right back into another summer of filming, all in the hopes, but by the time they come back and shoot, there will have been some big developments and new drama to capture." Despite the pause, our sources say show is not canceled. So that made me feel like, is nothing going on?
I guess not. I don't know. It seems, well, because I don't know. The sandwich shop is opening May 22nd. It's official. Katie and Ariana
Really?
announced it on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, we should go.
No, we have to go. Like, I
We
need to
have
get a
to go.
sandwich. I don't know, because it seems just very divided. Because it's like Lala and Sheena are like close. Katie and Ariana are close, and they're kind of on opposite sides. No one likes Sandoval, even though they like tolerate him. Schwartz is
Even
there.
right now?
I think like it seems like a lot of people like he's friends with Schwartz, and I think probably Sheena and Brock. But everyone else is just kind of like like I think even
Interesting.
Lala doesn't talk to him, but she'll film a scene with him because she like
We've seen some fakeness, so okay, that
yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. That's just interesting to me. Hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't know, but I guess we'll see. I think it's good for them to take a break though, because it's been a lot, you know?
Yeah, I'm here for it, I guess, if they need it.
We'll
I don't
see.
really understand, but I don't have to understand.
Maybe Sheena and Lala will try to glob onto the valley.
I wonder if there will be people who are like, it's September or whatever month. It's March and I don't have Vanderpump. Like my life would not feel any different. Like, you know what I
They'd be like,
mean?
what's happening? Where are
They
they?
didn't, if you didn't send me that article, I wouldn't have noticed a thing changed.
Probably not. But you
But
still got to
yeah,
catch up on all the other seasons.
I
So
do,
you
and that
still
will give
have
me
that
some
journey.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
now I have free time.
Yep. But this episode was pretty good. I thought it was
Yes.
fine.
It was good. I I've started to I tend to take things at take face value, so I've started to be a little critical. And when they finally got to where did they travel to? Minnesota.
San Francisco,
Not
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Aren't
What
they in
is she
California?
talking about? Yeah.
Which
Th-
part?
They're in LA.
Is San Francisco that far away?
I think it's at least like a 4 hour drive. I think because I actually,
Really?
when I first visited California,
Well, I mean,
they
they're rich. I wouldn't
we
expect
did
them
a
to drive.
drive and it
Okay.
was about that long. So they flew.
Interesting. It felt like they went somewhere far because it was like cold. That's why I thought like
Well,
it was
San
another
Francisco's
state.
cold. It's very windy there.
Interesting, interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, by the time they got to San Francisco, had this party, it's like almost the end of the episode, and I'm like, what happened this episode? It felt like stuff, but like also a whole lot of nothing really.
It was setting the groundwork, I think, for the
Yeah,
finale, which they could have just aired both episodes and had it
right.
just be an extra long episode, I think. Because I'm ready
Yeah.
for this reunion.
Yeah, I get it. They have to have in between. So this one was a
Hmm.
little bit of a nothing episode, but there were a few little juicy bits.
There were.
Um, we started with Lala's birthday.
Oh, yes,
Oh
which
well, no, we started with Sheena talking to Sandoval about the thing because she's getting ready to perform
you've
for his
always been
friend.
there for me, and I don't forget that, okay? Shut up. I hate her. I
Oh yeah,
can't with her.
their conversation was interesting. What did you think?
I mean, he apologized. I think she's just
Barely.
like barely. And it's like he only did it because he knew, like, which I guess that's why you apologize because he knew you're wrong, but I don't think he meant it,
I don't think he
is
meant
the
it either.
thing.
Not one bit.
Yeah, because he wasn't even, she was like, I've missed you. And he was like, yeah, I missed you
Yeah.
too.
I miss you too. And then they cut away, and I'm like, oh,
Right?
how did
I
this
think she's just
conversation
like
really end?
thirsty for his approval and friendship. And I just don't know why. So weird.
Do you? Yeah, I mean, I guess. Why else would she behave like that? I didn't get that vibe at first, but you saying that makes sense because, like, why does she care? But he was very mean to her.
He was, but she's willing to move past it because
Hmm.
I don't know. Sheena's just like I said before, she's just that girl. She loves to be the one that everyone
Yeah.
likes. She loves to be the middleman, which she kind of was in the end of this episode, although I didn't disagree with what she was saying.
Hmm.
I don't feel as though it moved the needle in Sandoval's mind, really.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But
Hmm.
yeah, this first conversation with them was a little, yeah, like Tom didn't see, he was, I really feel like Tom was 10 tones down. No, you were the other woman. Don't judge me. I feel like that's what he wanted to say, but he was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. I'm sorry. I miss you too. Like, and I guess she really wasn't that upset about it to just let it go so easily.
She's
Um,
quick to forgive
I
to a
see.
fault. We did learn a little about why something about her has taken so long to open. There's
Yeah.
like the boring permits and stuff like that, but also there's like the beef with Chef Penny.
I feel like that's the majority of why things haven't gone the way
Yeah.
there's or in order.
Yeah. It seems like apparently Chef Penny wants more of a stake in the company to be more of a partner.
Yeah. And I
And they're
guess that's
like,
not
no,
what they
ma'am.
wanted. Yeah.
There's like, here's a salary and 10% of profits. I think at first she liked it, but then with everything, probably with Scandival and all that, she wanted to be attached to like everything and like the
Hmm.
popularity of the sandwich shop and like
Yeah.
be a bigger part of it. But they were just
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, no, I get what they're saying. And they've already lost a lot of money. So you don't want to give away money, more money than you already had to
Hmm.
begin with, because you're kind of in the negatives right now for your business not making profits for what, 2 years?
Right. And I
Yeah.
think there's like a bad vibe because Lisa, I got the impression that they were very annoyed with Lisa.
Yeah, because Lisa's like, so Penny's gonna help, and they're like, no, and she's like, so but Penny was a partner, and she's like,
She's like,
no,
no.
and she was offered this, and she's like, oh, but I like Penny, and it's like, cool, we don't give a fuck.
Great,
She wants too
Lisa.
much.
I can't.
Penny's doing the most. Also, thought it was so funny that the only clip they showed of Penny was they were having like this some weird conversation about something, and then they like show her, and I'm like, this is funny.
I think it was like some tasting from a few seasons ago because Lisa's used her for her restaurant.
Mm.
And Lisa was like, oh, I hate tastings. I
I
just
hate
gained
taste.
so much weight.
I
And Penny's
was
like, well, how are we going to know if you like it if you don't taste it? And I'm like, I think she's just being funny, Chef Penny. I don't think she really means it.
oh, I was completely on Penny's side. Like, yeah, Lisa, what are you talking about?
Well,
Also, like, how do
maybe.
you
I don't
gain
know.
weight from a tasting? You're just supposed to taste.
Lisa's
Take a
an
bite.
extra one.
You
But
probably
there's
do it once in a
also
while.
there's more drama with it because apparently Chef Penny applied to get the copyright of something about her, like the
What?
name. I guess she was doing that while she was working with them, but it's still being like
Oh.
processed even now, and I don't think she's working with them now, like present day. But I guess it's not stopping them from opening because they're opening May 22nd. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I so look, it's obvious that Ariana and Katie need help. Like they don't know how to do the stuff, but I also get it. Like you don't want to give somebody profits in your company, but you also need to quickly replace that person so you don't, lose anything. And then like have an idea of what they've started so that you can jump in. Like that's kind of
yeah.
messy that she now might have the name.
Yeah, I
I
wonder
don't
if
even
they
know why she would file as herself, Penny,
I don't either. I guess she
when
did it
she
under some
files.
LLC she has, but I guess it's still pending. And my thing is like, what are you gonna do with the name? Like, are you
Yeah.
gonna start your own sandwich shop? Like,
Don't
that
they have a
seems
line of
shady.
products?
They have their merch that has it, but maybe if they change the name, that could be like vintage
Oh
merch.
gosh, this is messy. But yeah, I hope they figure it out. That's
Yeah.
messy.
They gotta do something. Because they're opening, so it's like I guess because it's not official, it's fine. I don't know, but we'll have to stay tuned for that. But what next happened in
It
this
was Lala's
episode?
birthday at
Oh
a
yes,
burlesque show.
something like that.
I don't
It
even
was
think they told
interesting.
us where we were. We were
They
just
didn't.
there.
It was just there was like a
There
random
were
place and like a random burlesque performance.
and nipple tassels and some dancing and posing. Lala was she looked good.
She did. I like that she wore her cutout dress like
Yeah.
Ariana. She tried to have her Ariana moment.
I mean, Brandon, there's a lot of dresses
I
with
know, I'm
similar
just kidding.
patterns.
I'm being stupid.
No, it's okay for us to hate on Lala a little.
I
Well,
only say
I
that
still
because
kind of like
Lala,
her.
I know, but I only say that because Lala had said a couple times on her podcast how she thought it was stupid that fans will call out when people wear a cutout dress now that Ariana did. So I found it funny that she chose to wear a dress
Oh,
like
that
that.
is
Because
ironic.
with Lala, I feel like there's
Gosh,
always an underhanded, I can wear one too.
she's
But
seething.
she did look great, is the
She
thing.
looked great, but she's seething with contention for this girl with so much
Jealousy.
attention on herself. Why does
Hmm.
everybody care when she wears that dress? It was a revenge dress, Lala.
Well,
This
also
is
because she said at the reunion she was supposed to wear a cutout dress that I
why
think
didn't
was,
she?
I guess she didn't, or maybe because I think it was supposed to be like a red cutout dress.
Interesting.
And I think she ended up wearing it to some gala, but it wasn't that cute. And I was like, well, good thing you didn't wear that.
I mean, she could have won one too, but I would say out of the housewives that I've seen, I mean, this is not technically housewives. Housewives adjacent products or people. Atlanta, Potomac, and these folks, I would say that they dress the best.
Do you think Vanderpump Rules dress as well?
I do. In their day to day, when these girls step out, majority of the time they look good. James did look like a little schoolboy. Can I
He
have some more
did.
porridge? I'm talking about the women. I think that they show up and they show out. Granted, there's an age difference, right? You can't see Karen Huger in a cutout dress.
Or
You
you
know what?
can.
This is what I'm trying to say. They look good. Comparatively to these other folks I've mentioned, they look really good, but they are very young.
I think this cast can sometime, I think this cast is beautiful and sometimes they get it right. But
Yeah.
sometimes with their fashions, I'm like, what are you doing? I felt that way a lot with what was it? Katie in the past, but she's kind of grown into her style. Lala, she looked good today, but sometimes I'm like, what are you putting together? I
I
don't know. It's really hit or miss with this cast, but
Yeah.
they
But
can look good.
physically, they are an attractive bunch,
They
right,
are.
Brandon?
Sure. No, yeah, they are.
But yes, it was Lala's birthday. I mean, Lala's birthday was Lala's birthday. I just thought it was funny how a couple weeks ago, Lala's like, Sandoval, let's be friends. I will come to your screaming therapy session, but also don't come to my birthday party. I was like, what? You called just to make sure he wasn't coming? And then the friend was like, that was nice. And in my head, I'm like, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was pretty. She was just
Mean.
making sure she was like that he wouldn't do a random pop-up, which I guess it's good to cover your bases.
No, text Schwartz and say, Schwartz, can you make sure Tom doesn't try to like pop up at my party with you? Because that's
Oh,
what she said
true.
was, I was nervous he's gonna come with Schwartz. So you called him on camera to tell him don't come? He's like, yeah, I wasn't invited. I wasn't gonna come. That would make me feel so sad. Not
Yeah, that would
only
have
does
feel
he
good.
already he already knows he's not invited. You called just to make sure, but you're like
Just so you
defending
know,
him and
just in
building this.
case you were thinking you were, just
This is
know.
this is the episode that we will need to reflect back to after the reunion and the tomfoolery that we already know that is Lala and Sheena because they are doing things, right? Don't invite Tom. I don't want him to come. Then later defending him. So this is just an example of Lala like being, I mean,
They're flip-flopping,
you said he was your friend. Invite him to your
right?
party. Anyway.
Yeah. But this party, the main thing that happened was Sheena being like, I just feel like, I told him I
Oh
missed
yeah.
him, and then we had this talk and we cried. And Ariana just the whole time is just like,
Ugh.
that's pathetic.
Literally, she was like, he doesn't care about you though. Like, he honestly doesn't. Like, you
No,
missed this person? Like, she said, did everybody just forget what he did? And I mean, I get where Ariana's coming. Because her stance is like, if this guy is capable of being this terrible, do you really want that person being your friend? And it's a valid question.
it is. Because it's kind of like, it's one thing, like, did you forget what he did to me? But then it's also like, why do you want to be friends with someone who's consistently terrible to you?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
and the point is, Sheena. needs validation. So Sheena will want to be friends with Tom and anyone else who's willing to be her friend.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
I don't think anything else. And they go to San Francisco.
Well, the Tom performs at this
Oh
place.
God, I blocked that out. That was so
Joe,
embarrassing.
Joe is me in the crowd. Joe's just like, this is really nice.
She
Looks
just randomly
completely
pops up.
unenthused. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. He
So he
just lip
performs.
synced.
Yeah,
That was
I
not
couldn't.
live.
I was just gonna say the only thing about his performance is I just noticed that I couldn't hear him. The
Yeah.
music sounded great and stuff, but I can't hear your voice because there's another voice just as loud as your voice.
Your auto-tune voice is
Yeah.
blaring, and I cannot hear your authentic vocals. His poor mother was there. She looked
Oh,
excited.
she looks really excited. Hey,
But
you gotta
Joe and
love your
Schwartz
kid.
did have that. That's true. Joe and Schwartz did have a conversation that was awkward. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh, hey. Oh, are we
Yeah.
good? I don't know. Whoop. I guess so. Woo. Schwartz, are we friends? I don't know, Joe. Are we friends? Are we? Woo. Like, what is happening? Stop. Stop. I
I
can't.
hate awkward moments that people call attention to. Like, it's already not great. You don't need to say, oh, yeah, be a robot, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's here talking to you. Just act normal, you know? But
Yeah.
whatever. I now see, because early on, I was like, why is, Joe, why is Joseph? I think the nickname is kind of cute. Why is Joseph like hanging around Shorts when he's like, hey, yeah, I slept with this girl yesterday? And she's like, how was it? You know, in my head, I'm like, he's really friend zoning you. But now I see how he's really not friend zoning her. Like,
Well, yeah, it's just weird because it's just like I think she said it best. Like I'm getting whiplash. Like he's
yeah,
saying one thing, doing another. I don't know
yeah.
why we needed a break, but we did need a break. But it's just like I love you and miss you so much, but we're not dating. Oh, it's
And then
like,
he's like, we're gonna have kids one day and get married.
and it's
Ah,
like, what is she supposed to do with that?
I don't know why she's going to San Francisco.
Because the producers want her at the finale.
Mm.
So
Oh,
there's that.
and it's the group trip of the season.
Yeah, so they're like,
Yeah.
Joe, go.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Okay.
here. But they do go to San Fran, and then
We'll see her next time.
we'll see her next time. The cast gets there. They don't do much, but then they go on like the boat ride that's like janky,
Hmm.
and that was a little much.
Yeah, that
But
looked like not a lot of fun at all.
no, I was like, what is the point of this? Oh,
Yeah.
we do get Sandoval proposing to Schwartz, or Schwartz proposing to
Uh,
Sandoval to move in,
I can't
which
believe he said yes.
I know I'm so confused. I don't think they're living together though. So I guess it hasn't happened.
Maybe he decides against it later.
I think so, because I was watching the after show and he seemed very much like, it was a moment in time I thought maybe, but and then Sandoval was like, it could happen. It still could happen. And Schwartz was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
Ariana and Tom are supposed to have a court date about the house in June.
oh, okay.
But apparently I heard somewhere on TikTok that he's about to do something that will prolong it even more. So we'll see.
Sounds about right.
It
Let her
sounds
move
about
into her
Tom.
mansion. Yeah.
But she does have her new home, so she's moving on regardless.
I
It's soon
love it.
enough. But the main thing that I thought came out of this boat ride was afterwards, and it was the conversation with Ariana and Brock.
It was a
And
good conversation.
it was a great conversation,
Mhm.
where Brock was very much trying to introduce the concept of forgiveness
Yeah.
and how forgiveness is like for yourself so you can understand. Was that a good Aussie accent? I feel like that was
That was
bad.
pretty good. I mean, I could get I you didn't have to explain it. I wasn't like, what's happening here, Brandon? It was pretty good. Good job.
All right. I won't push it and do
I mean,
more.
it wasn't I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5. Okay, 4.
Oh, wow.
Five, 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 five.
I'll take a five. And then I love how quick Ariana is just like, yeah, I don't think you really have to like forgive to like be happy. Like, I think you can not like someone and it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, she made a lot of good points. She also mentioned, well, okay. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I actually do think forgiveness is healthy for moving on, but I do agree with there is power there, like her being angry is her taking her power back. So if that's
Hmm.
your journey, sis, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Forgiveness can't happen. Forgiveness happens when you're ready, and
Yeah.
obviously she's not. I do think letting go is good, but this is an abnormal situation. In any other situation, she could be able to block this guy and move on with her life. But
Yeah.
they're tied together in their friend group, quote unquote, and they're tied together in this show. So they have to, and that's really the only reason why he's bringing it up, you know?
Hmm.
Like if in a normal world, a girl could block a guy, never talk to him ever again, and work on forgiveness when she felt like if she ever felt like it, you know, like.
Yeah.
But here it's different, and that's why he's bringing it up.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
like how she's like, well, who would it benefit for me to like, why do I need to make up with him? And he's like,
yeah.
well, my wife. And she's like, You mean the person I care about the most that he just yelled at? Why would they need to be good? Like, I'm confused."
And Brock was like, "Yeah, it's valid. Why does she need to be friends with a person like that, Brock? Why?
Right.
If not for the show, I really feel like if not for the show, none of these people would really talk to Tom."
No, they wouldn't. And like, I mean, they barely are even filming the show. So, but she does introduce the gray rock method or the gray rock theory or something like that. And it's basically like when dealing with like a narcissist or someone who can be narcissistic towards you, it's like you act as uninteresting and kind of just like dull like a gray rock. So they don't like, it's not like they can like feed into anything with it. Like you're very short with your responses. You're very
Hmm.
this, you don't give them access to yourself.
Hmm.
That is probably very brief and there's a bunch of other details to it, but just from what I can recollect from other people talking about and what I saw on social media. But I'm like,
Hmm.
that's an interesting theory. And I like the sound of that. And that's why she was like, I'm a gray rock. Um,
Oh, I see. I
mhm.
I didn't even catch that she said that, but that makes sense.
I was confused at first because when she said gray rock, I was like, what's that? But then I saw on Twitter it's like an actual like concept or
I
something.
see. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. And then I also liked how she pointed out how like everybody's upset with her rage. You brought this up a couple weeks ago. Like
Hmm.
female rage is bad, but men rage out all the time. And then it was just like like a quadrant.
Yes,
four
of just
four
four different
different clips
entrances,
of
instances.
of Tom being like crazy. And
And there's
Ariana's not
more.
even doing all of that. She's not sitting there yelling in people's faces, calling them names and disrespecting them. He's
No.
like she's not even gotten there. But because she doesn't want to talk to him and she doesn't want to be around him, she's so full of rage. Like, let's be so for real. Brock, I feel like actually I wondered if she was gonna say, yeah, Brock, I mean, you've had moments of rage.
She would, but here's what Ariana was being respectful because she saw what he was doing, but she was like, I'm not gonna push it. I'm
Yep.
not gonna push the one who, sorry, but got a domestic violence charge, but now you're asking me
Literally.
for an example of male rage.
And she didn't.
Um,
She
she
is so
didn't.
classy.
Also, like
I
male
would have.
rage, the I would
Shit.
have said it.
I don't know, Brock. Are you a calm person under pressure?
Should
Let's
I
see the
hold
next time
out my
you get mad.
selfie camera so you can look at
Literally.
an example of male rage? You just yelled at Sheena a week ago in the pool.
Hmm.
And
But
then
let's,
Tom yelled at her. There's so many instances. I'm like, are you for
yeah.
real?
At the party, they were like all of these men just yelling.
Hmm. Just so much yelling. And he's
So
like,
much
what's
yelling.
mal rage? And it's like,
What's
well,
that? What's that, mate?
what is that? I've
What?
never heard of such a
It's
thing.
you, my guy. It's you. Every time, what? Sheena just wanted to go home, and
Sheena
he's like,
wants
"We're
to read a
having a good
story to her
time.
kid. What the fuck do you mean?
Why do we have to leave?" And his
Why do you have to leave? I'm in my Speedo. I'm just trying to lay in the pool.
he's
I'm
in the floaty
lounging.
in the pool, and he's like, "Why do we have to?" And please show me an example of male rage. Yeah, man,
uh,
you, literally you.
you rock. That's just funny. I can't. But they get ready for the is it like a Gatsby theme or like the 20s theme
He
party?
said 20s and look like players or something.
Yeah, every Bravo show has a season where they do this theme. Like
Oh,
murder
really?
mystery, Gatsby 20s. It's so annoying.
Hmm.
And I don't even understand what the point of this, but they do. They all get dressed up and Dan ironed Ariana's clothes, put a Celsius
Yes.
on ice.
Yes. Well, we didn't even okay, we should go back and let's just cover Dan for a second.
Oh yes,
So
Dan. Oh yeah, they had their date
they have their date.
before
Dan,
San Francisco.
yes. They have dinner before, and she's like, "You should move," blah, blah. And he's like,
He's like,
Which I
no.
was like, "Yes, Dan, healthy boundaries." And Ariana's talking about how like it's cool having a long distance partner because you can kind of ease into things, which I think is very healthy for somebody who just got out
Hmm.
of a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Um, we see him on the plane, and he's like, well, at that dinner, she was like, "Oh, he might try to talk to you," and he's like, "Okay, we'll see."
Yeah.
And then he goes with her. He's not really doing the group activities. He's hanging out with other people while she's hanging out with people. Um, but we kind of see this moment. I think later Sheena comes in. Dan is
Hmm.
getting dressed.
Oh no, Lala.
Lala comes in. Dan's getting dressed.
Lala.
And Lala's like, "Okay, Dan, you work out. Dan looks good."
Dan's got a good body. He's hitting an F-45. He's been doing F-45 for a long time.
When she was like, "Do you work out?" He's like, "Maybe." Or he's like, "I don't know, sometimes."
He also
I was
has very
like,
long, beautiful hair. I was like,
very
okay,
nice
Dan.
hair. I like his style and stuff. And then Lala was like, "So how do you feel about being here?" And he's like, "It's fine." And she's like, "Well, what about this stuff?" And he's like, "Look, the guy didn't do anything to me. I know what he did, but he didn't do anything to me." And I actually really appreciate Dan's stance because there could have been a lot of scenarios. You could have had a rager guy who was like, "Oh, don't talk to her. Oh no, don't come near her." Bodyguard
Yeah.
type boyfriend. But he is like literally so level-headed. It's such an opposite. He's like the opposite of Tom for real. But he's like, "Look, it's not my drama. I don't really want to talk to the guy, and I don't need to be everywhere that you go." Like all of these things I really like and appreciate.
Hmm. I agree. And it was clear to me that Lala was like probing to try to like get him
Yeah.
to say something or like
Yeah.
poke, and he just wasn't. Well, because he's not interested in like the reality TV, so he doesn't even get that. So he's just like, I don't know.
I mean, I actually think that that's good. Like, why would you
It
want to stir the
is.
pot? It really isn't your drama. Like to fuel the fire and join a fight that you had nothing to do with and you weren't a part of is weird.
Yeah.
She's not with him. She's made that clear. She doesn't like him. She's made that clear. Okay, she's good. She doesn't talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't have to hate him, but I'm not gonna jump in and go be this guy's friend, you know?
Right. And Ariana even said in some interview recently, they asked, oh, will we be seeing Dan again? And she's like, I don't think he's going to film again. He did it as a favor for me.
Oh,
So I
that's
think what it
nice.
was is like the producers were like, you got to bring Dan. And she's like, okay. And she's
Yeah.
always like, Dan, you don't have to go to everything. Just go to the final party and we're good. He's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually good, right? Like, because this show almost makes you behave in a certain type of way inside of your relationship, which can be really confusing.
Yeah. You got Sheena thinking Lala and Brock are going to sleep together.
It's wild, literally so crazy.
You
I
did
mean,
that.
I feel like there has to be a healthy balance, but and then all of your relationship problems are on this show. Like,
Hmm.
if I didn't, if I think Ariana's good with like not wanting to have her whole business displayed out there. And then what you mentioned earlier, the ironing the clothes and the Celsius, like he's just like a very thoughtful person,
Right. I'm
you
like,
know.
Dan, where are you in my life? I need someone to iron my clothes.
I need a dad in my life,
Come on,
please.
Dan.
Literally.
Uh,
But
but they go to that rooftop
well,
party.
I wanted to ask you
Oh,
because
yes, of
Lala
course.
was making a thing about it. Do you
Hmm.
think that she moved on too soon? Is it okay for Ariana to date?
I mean, I think it's okay. Do I think she moved on quick? Yeah. Do I wish she would have stayed single a little longer? Yeah. But I can understand getting out of a relationship where someone you thought loved you did something so awful to you. she
Mm-hmm.
probably felt very betrayed and unwanted. So then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, you find like this really nice, normal guy, and it's like, he seems to really care about me. Like, why not? Because it seems like they met and they liked each other, but maybe they didn't think it would like, I don't know. It just kind of like evolved.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'll just go with it. Like, why say no?
Yeah.
And like, I think though, if this ends, she'll be all right because of getting through the Sandoval.
Yeah.
So I think it is a little quick, but I also think people are different, and Tom made it easy to not want to like move on. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like, what do you think?
I felt a couple ways because I was like at first I was like we were literally kind of throwing shade at Sandoval a couple weeks ago for having this hot girl pool party at the house and all this stuff, and then it's like Ariana's dating someone, so can I was like being critical of myself, like at first I was like no, but then I was like well we were just shading him.
Well, we can
So
shade him because he's the one who cheated and he's gross.
he is he's got a lot more self-reflection that he needs to do.
Yes.
But then I mean, I thought about it like I was in a relationship not as long. I think it was like kind of 3 years. And then I met Obi like maybe 2 months after that, and I really liked him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was on a dating app where I met him, but I kind of just wanted to go on dates and get to know people and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I met him, and then I was talking to my therapist, and I was like, "Is it too soon?" And she's like, "No, you're not with that other
Yeah.
person. You're not in contact with that other person. Go have go ahead." And
Right.
so I kind of felt like, yeah, I mean, if you feel ready, like that's fine. But and it's not super serious right now. It is a very like just a casual dating relationship. They're not living together. It's not moving super quickly, which I think is good. So
Yeah.
yes, I also think it was soon, but I think Ariana is smart.
Yeah, and it seems like they're still together, and I think she learned a lot with Tom as far as not commingling finances and like the house. Like she has her own house, she has
Mm-hmm.
her own life. I think she said on the after show he could turn out to be the biggest scammer, but like I'll be all right.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you got to go through life with that. It's just like, why should I not be with this guy like and that treats me well? Like, yeah, like maybe I should have some time alone, but that could be a year from now where I have that time alone. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm all for do what
Mm-hmm.
makes you happy, Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
But you should also be a little single, I think.
Yeah, just for a
But
little
it's also
bit.
like he does seem nice, so I get it. So I'm like,
Yeah, and we know she's actively working on herself.
yeah,
So I think
she
it's
goes to
okay.
therapy. There's a
I won't.
balance.
So they're still together. So then it's been like a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, something.
Yeah.
But they go to the rooftop. Her and Tom are wearing the same shoes.
She's like, no, no, we're not. No, we're not.
Mine are
Mine.
Steve Madden.
I love how she just said it like that. She's like, yeah, no, mine are Steve Madden. Like she already. Tom, Sandoval actually looked nice for a change. I was like,
I
okay,
didn't mind the
long
outfit. I
time
was
for
like,
him.
okay, Tom, the one time you got the
Yeah.
outfit right.
Suit, coat, accessories. Okay, you looked
And I'm like,
good.
all right.
James looked so ridiculous. I was like, bro, what are we
He
doing
did look like
here?
Oliver Twist. He was like, can I have
Literally.
some more,
Some
please?
more, please.
I
I
have
don't
to see
remember what.
Hippie. I have to see Hippie.
I don't remember what Allie was wearing. I
I
honestly
don't
don't.
either.
I really only noticed Tom, so I was like, oh, he looks nice.
Yeah,
Um,
I noticed Ariana's hat. I liked her top. Katie had a kind of similar vibe. And then Sheena had like a dress and like
they
a
got
headpiece.
dressed up but didn't do anything.
Yeah, that part.
They're like, we're just sitting around this circle, and then oh yeah, go have a conversation.
Right? What
The
did
show
you
must
think
be
of?
exhausting.
I know, right? And just all
Like,
the and Lala, every scene, Lala's like, how do you feel that Tom's here? How do you feel that Tom's here? What about the fact that Tom's
yeah.
here? Like, oh my gosh, give me a
Then
break.
Brock is like, so are you gonna forgive
Are you
Tom?
gonna forgive?
Mm-mm.
Forgive.
Mm-mm.
Forgiveness is key. Um, but what did you think of Schwartz and Katie and him being weird?
Oh, I don't know. Short seems like the guy where like you give him an inch and he takes a mile. He's like, you're looking at me. We're in the same room.
He takes
Let's
a mile, but like then
literally.
gives it back, but then tries to take it, but then only takes half the mile, but then gives it back again and only takes like a third of the mile, and then but gives back only half of that third, but then takes back like a
Yeah.
quarter of the third. Like he's just this back and forth, and it's just like, what are you saying? Like, what's
Literally,
wrong
like, do
with
you hear
you?
yourself out loud? If this is what you want, ease into it, dude. Go
Yeah,
go have a drink or something. Maybe the group wants to go somewhere and you kind of spend a little more time with Katie. But asking
right.
her to like come and like basically Netflix and chill with you is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. He's like, let's order a bunch of junk food. It'll be
Ah,
great.
what
And
if we
she's
did
like,
this? What if we had snacks and we
is it
hung
okay?
out? We could sleep together or not? Or yeah. Ah. And she's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I was like, did he mean it? Because he's like, let's sleep together. And she's like, and he's like, no, 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 I mean, order food.
I
It's like, which
think
one?
he, because the thing with their relationship is she was the one always fighting for it. I
Mm,
think he's so confused by the fact that not only she left him, but that she's not trying to like make it work again or like ease into it or maybe like
mm,
drop hints. So I feel like he's trying to do it to see if she'll reciprocate. But if she
yeah,
were to reciprocate, he wouldn't like he wants to be able
yeah,
to deny her. The
yeah,
power imbalance, he always had the power. But
yeah,
she's in her final form.
yeah.
She's Torchic. What's the final Pokemon for Torchic? There's
Wait, what's
like
Torchic? You
that
picked a
was
very exotic
was
Pokemon.
my first Pokemon. I forget if that was its
Not
first form.
Pikachu.
But was it Blaziken? It was like Torchic, then Blaziken, then something else.
Brandon, what is
It was my
this?
first one, the Ruby version.
You said
Anyways,
Torchic, then Blazin, not like Squirtle or
Blaziken.
like a normal one.
No.
Jeez, I recognize this Pokemon, but I wouldn't have thought of it
It was my
first.
first and only Pokemon, and it
Anyway,
had
we
like
get
three
it.
forms. But anyway, she's in her final form. She has her best haircut. She's in her best style. She's very much comfortable
Yeah,
in herself and no longer seeking his validation. And he doesn't know how to deal with that. But now he
yeah.
has this young girlfriend that's like 25 that he calls an old soul that I guess has
Hmm.
a vintage clothing line, which I'm confused by that, but I guess maybe I'll look into it at one point to understand what that means. But which is funny. He picked a 25-year-old probably because that's the person that will like deal with him and not question. Because she's like, I
Yeah.
got life to live. I'll deal with you for now. But I do agree with Katie's sentiment that in 5 or 6 years he's gonna wake up and regret it. Because Katie
I-
was a ride or die.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he will. And yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of a glimpse of that. Like he misses her. Um, so but from what you just described, that sounds terribly toxic. So are both Toms narcissists?
No, here's the thing. Yes. Schwartz just gets away with it because he's like the aw shucks guy.
Oh man, I'm
But
sorry.
he's
I
low
I
key,
upset you.
like, he's not, I wouldn't say I don't think he's worse than Sandoval because I don't
No,
think
no,
he
no,
would
no.
ever do what Sandoval did with
Never.
Raquel.
Yeah,
But
like
he could be more dangerous because I
yeah.
think, especially now, Sandoval's mask has been ripped off. Whereas
Hmm.
Schwartz, I think, can still get away being all shucks. I think it's more ripped off now that everything's because there's really been a flip. After Sandoval happened, the audience eyes like awoke. And then people who
Hmm.
rewatch seasons were just like, they were actually always awful. So I'm interested to see your journey as you continue watching.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I already see it. He poured water all
oh
over.
my gosh, you saw that? You want to know a fun fact about that?
No, the first bar fight where he poured a beer on.
Oh, and Stassi. Oh,
Yeah, I keep
there's
forgetting
another
that girl's
drink
name.
incident at season 2.
I
I'll let
don't
you.
know. I don't understand. This is my thing. You're upset, and your default is to immediately pour a drink on somebody. Like, how is that the first thing that you do?
I know,
Like,
right?
remember that clip of the fight with Candace and all of them? Everybody's going at it, and the first thing Candace does is pick up a bottle of whatever champagne, whatever, almost bigger than her, and tries to like swing it. That's your first instinct.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
You know, her back was turned. She didn't know what was happening. And
No, Schwartz
um,
is doing it too.
well,
Pouring drinks
Schwartz,
on women.
Schwartz is the worst. Uh, so. Yeah, I'm interested to see as you
Yeah.
watch Katie and Tom's relationship, what you think.
I feel like what you just described about shorts is probably something else. So I studied social work and we had to go through the DSM-5, which is like
Mm,
the the text for defining and diagnosing mental disorders.
okay.
Narcissism is easy. Tom definitely has it. But I feel like from Shorts, it's probably something else. Like, it's probably some kind of, he definitely has a personality thing. I feel like he just needs to be the center of attention and like
Hmm.
his way or no way. I'm gonna figure it out. Because I feel
Sh
like maybe it's
yeah.
not narcissism, but it's something close to it, a neighbor.
A neighbor. Schwartz, there has been stuff online potentially about his family dynamic
Oh.
growing up that could play a role. I don't know if this is true, so I'm just gonna say this is just something that's been like someone said maybe on Reddit or like on Facebook or something. So I don't know if this is true, but it's something about like I think like his dad may or may not have been an alcoholic and like wasn't nice to the mom. So that
Mm,
could be, which kind of I've heard people say supported maybe why he's so quick to forgive men, but is easy to like snap on a woman. And I'm
yeah.
like, I could see that. And who knows if that's even true.
Yeah,
But
that
that was
makes
just
sense.
like something that was just like, oh, interesting. Because it was always
Yeah.
weird too with his family because his parents didn't go to his wedding. Like, I think the mom did, but his dad didn't. It was
And
like,
they're both alive.
yeah. Well, the episode ended with Tom Sandoval and
Hmm.
Sheena having to sit down, which, you know, I wasn't mad at Sheena
Mm-mm.
in this.
Hmm.
But this other podcaster, Emily Hanks, she pointed this out, and it's very true about Sheena. She like thinks she's like this guy whisperer. Like she's like the girl that like, you're like if a guy's like drunk and like upset and like yelling, she's like, look at me. No, look at me. No, look at me. No, look at me. No, I'm here. It's just me and you. Like just trying to calm them down. Like that's Sheena.
I mean, if it is, it kind of worked a little bit. It
We'll
kind
see.
of, he listened for a change.
He did
He
listen.
actually listened,
He
which
almost
we
spoke up at one point, and she was just like, "Don't say anything,
just
just
think about
listen."
it. And he actually listened to that. He's like,
Right? I was
if
like,
anything, he'd be like,
"Okay,
bitch, fuck you. I'm gonna say what I need to say. And
you're
you're
a
a homewrecker
mistress.
too.
You're nothing but a mistress."
Literally. But no,
Uh,
he listened to her. So she was basically like, Tom, how did they get oh, Tom was she asked him, how do you feel about Ariana having a guy here? And he was like, it's good because I was worried about her. I was like worried about her mental health and whether she'd be okay, which is kind of basically shady, right? It's like
right, and a
he's
lie. Because
and a
if you
lie.
worried about a mental health, you wouldn't have done any of the things you did. But go off, Sandoval.
We literally know that mental health is on the last of your radar. He's like, I don't know why Raquel needed to leave. Raquel could have stayed.
Why'd
And
she
it's
go
like,
to a treatment facility? She could have been with me, dude.
and he's literally like, I wanted to die. No, all of it, all of it. Like, your feelings matter. We should be upset that you wanted to hurt yourself, right? But if Raquel goes to get help, it's a problem.
She's selfish.
Ariana, Ariana, Ariana told me she would hurt herself if I broke up with her, so I cheated on her.
Would she, right? What the fuck, Tom? She said on Call Her Dottie that she call her Dottie, call her
Call her
daddy,
Daddy. Her
call
name
her
is
Dottie.
Daddy.
She said on Call Her Dottie. She said on Call Her Daddy that she never threatened to kill herself. That what she said was, if they break up, her life, like in LA and like on the show, is over. Like she's gonna move, she's gonna do all this. But she
Hmm.
said like, oh, it's like all over. Like this life is over. Which, I mean, it's not her saying that, and I guess it could be open to interpretation, but if she
Yeah.
followed it with the explanation, I feel like you could. But he's probably like, oh God, now I have to stay with her forever. Like, I don't know. He's
Yeah.
like we've noticed with him his perception skills aren't the best.
Literally. Yeah. I
And
mean,
she's like, you put that out there on Howie Mandel, and like you think
mm,
maybe you shouldn't have weaponized it.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
well,
It's a valid point. And I mean, it's just BS also
hmm.
because they were going to couples counseling at the time.
Well, he did
I
it under the guise of breaking up with he wanted to break up with her, but he's so stupid that he doesn't think, oh, we're going to couples counseling, maybe the relationship would get better. And then it did get better. So then he stuck with it more because it got better. Because Ariana was like, oh my God, I care about you. I want to fix our relationship.
no.
Let me take it seriously.
That it's just that's crazy because if I am feeling so trapped in a relationship that my partner is going to hurt themselves if I leave them and we start going to counseling, the counseling is to exit. The
Yeah.
counseling is I'm going to counseling so I don't have to be with you anymore. Like, counselor, please help us through this because
Yeah.
I want to separate and that is my choice right now.
Not,
Not
oh,
working
let's
on your
work on
relationship
it. Yeah.
and then it got better, so I stayed with two people. No, no, you're full of it. You're full of it. He's full of
He's
it. We know it's BS.
stupid.
The whole mental health thing is a cop out. It's BS. You know, people are going to talk about it and focus on it, be curious about it, and that's why you said it.
Hmm. And I like
Uh,
Sheena. It was really sad because Sheena was just like, you know, all she ever wanted was to make it work. She didn't
yeah,
freeze her eggs just for herself. She didn't buy a house just for herself. She didn't go to couples counseling just for herself. She did it because she just wanted to be with you. And that's
yeah,
point blank.
it is.
And with
Hey,
that, it's not even like with that, oh, you could have still broken up, but it's the fact that you like did the cheating and all that other stuff.
literally, because he's basically created an excuse for himself. I wanted to leave and I couldn't get out. Well, what if she just really, like Sheena said, just wanted to be with you and wanted to make it work? Like,
Hmm.
then you can't say that and basically taking his excuse away. She just cared about you, dude. She
Yeah.
cared about you, period. And she
Yeah.
wanted your relationship to work. That doesn't
Hmm.
mean you were trapped, you were stuck, you hopeless. What did he say? It
Right.
was like masturbating on the toilet or something. Like
Ew.
he made the whole situation seem so pathetic. Remember?
Yeah,
He
he
was
did
like,
say that at
yeah.
one point.
Like he made it sound like so bad. And
Hmm.
Sheena's like, pause. What if she just cared about you? Which is a valid thing to say because I'm pretty sure that's closer to the truth than all this other stuff that he's saying.
Yeah. He's just he's a mess. And but he said in his confessional, finally, that Ariana didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
It took him 14 episodes to come to that
He
conclusion
said
that should
that
have been.
before though, no? I thought he said
He
that
probably
at the
did, but
reunion.
now he seems like, okay, maybe it's actually registering. But
Hmm.
my thing is, I don't think this is registering at all based off the mid-season trailer, if we think of two clips. Well, so basically the episode ended, they did a long awkward hug. They didn't
That was
show
weird. I was like, why are y'all
it was
hugging for
so
so long?
long. It was
Wait,
weird.
wait, before you move on, she also brought up how she feels like Ariana is upset because you really haven't apologized. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
haven't
she's
been
setting the
remorseful.
stage.
Yeah, and she's like, maybe if you are sincere and you do say sorry, you guys can move on, which is valid. Like, I actually feel like that kind of builds a bridge. Not that y'all need to be friends, but at least maybe the tension can be a little lessened if you actually say sorry. At this
Hmm.
point, I don't think it's gonna matter. Ariana's not gonna forgive you. It's been how long? Like 6 months?
No, and that was, I think, setting up for him to like try and talk to her at the finale,
Oh
which I
gosh.
think is Sheena thinks, oh, it would help. This is what Ariana wants, but I don't think Ariana wants it. I think Ariana's been clear, like she doesn't want anything to do with him,
Yeah,
and
it's
no
too
apology she feels will be sincere.
Yeah,
So
it's too far gone.
yeah,
Apologize after 6 months. Like, come on.
maybe in a year.
Yeah,
Um,
but we can move on.
but next week is the finale. They didn't show a preview. There's like some sneak peeks online, but they're nothing that's like crazy, really, I think. For next week, if we think back to the midseason trailer,
I don't remember it, so you'll have to remind
there's
me
a
of it.
scene where Gina and Ariana are talking, like at the finale, and Tom goes, Ariana,
Oh,
and
I
then
do
Ariana
remember that.
walks away.
Yeah.
And then she talks to her producer and she's like, he's doing this for the audience. He wants a scene. He's not genuine. He doesn't care if I die or not. And then it
Yeah.
shows Tom talking to Lala and Sheena being like, Ariana has talked shit about all of you guys. Da 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 da. And I'm like, see, this is why you're not genuine. Because if you
Mm.
genuinely were sorry and wanted to apologize, her simply walking away, because she has a right to
Oh,
walk away and be upset, wouldn't then trigger you to snap like that and be like, well, she
yeah,
talks shit about all of you. Da, 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 da. You would just take it if you were
yeah,
genuine, but you're not genuine.
yeah.
You are trying to have a scene. You are trying to have a
Um,
moment. You are trying to look like you changed for the audience. And because it's
mm,
always Sandoval, and this is him with everything. Anytime he apologizes, if there's a little pushback, he's always the I'm sorry, but you did do this or you did do that. You're a mistress. You slept with Kristen. Da da da
mm,
da da. He can't ever own it. He doesn't mean anything. He just wants to
mm,
get past this. And the thing is, he never will completely because he
yeah,
sucks. But that's why I'm like, although we wanted to believe this moment with Sheena was real, I don't think it was.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's valid. And like, I feel like I wonder if now did the producers just tell her to say that? Like, hey, you guys should have a talk about maybe forgiveness and moving on.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, Ariana drew a hard line that she wouldn't film any one-on-one scenes with Sandoval. Like, I guess it was like in her contract.
Hmm.
So I guess they try to work around it by having Sheena there. But it's the
But it was
finale.
at the party.
Yeah, but they want like at the finale, like there to be closure, there to be like final showdowns, there to be all this. And I
Interesting.
think so. They were trying to have that moment, but Ariana was like, I said what I said.
Yeah,
That's one thing about Ariana. She says what she says and she
yeah,
means it.
yeah.
And she's gonna follow through. And she does. But that also leads to Lala freaking out and what I believe is to be revealed at the reunion and what causes a rift between her and Ariana.
I just gotta see it. I need to
I
see
know.
what happens so we can really know and then tear it to shreds. I'm excited. They're probably gonna
Yes.
wait until like the second reunion episode, so I've got like a month.
Well, probably the third. So
Gosh,
there's usually three parts.
I love
But
to drag stuff out.
Ariana and Katie were on Watch What Happens Live. Not too much. They officially announced the sandwich shop was opening May 22nd, like I said earlier. When asked who was a Sheena better friend to, Ariana or Sandoval, both Katie and Ariana said Sandoval.
Mm,
They also said they hinted that the reunion is very altering and changed a lot of relationships. But Ariana
interesting.
said she did not eviscerate Lala. And Katie was like, no one was eviscerated. Like, no one eviscerated anyone. It seems like there was like a lot of passion at the reunion, but not like yelling or like going off. It seemed very just like emotional,
Mm,
which is interesting.
yeah,
Um, and then what else? I think that was kind of it. They were also asked, "Oh, Lala unfollowed you guys on Instagram," and they were like, "Yeah,
yeah.
she did."
What about it?
What about it?
I love how I feel like Katie is becoming more like Ariana in just being so unbothered and being a normal
Mhm.
person and not letting it like whatever, you know?
They're a good
So,
duo. I like them. They're
yeah.
normal. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much it for the episode. And then next week's the
Yeah.
finale.
The only thing that we didn't touch on, I wrote
Oh
down
yes.
um bathroom hotel baths and I put the throwing up emoji.
Oh,
I can't believe I can't believe that first, I don't know how James was jumping in that thing. Like he could have
oh
really
yeah.
hurt himself. It's not deep.
No, he was having a good
Uh,
time though.
and Ali's like, yeah, that would give me a yeast infection. He's like, why? And it's
Oh my
like,
God.
because that thing is gross.
Right.
Hotel baths. You fill that thing up with water. You got nude and jumped in there. That's disgusting. Some people find it soothing, but yes, that's the episode.
That is. But next week we'll be going over the finale, maybe something else if any other pop culture pops off or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to rate and review us, give us 5 stars on Apple
5 stars,
Podcasts and
please.
Spotify. Follow us on TikTok at the Shade of It All podcast, posting clips still, very fun clips, and on Instagram at the Shade of It All podcast. Also on YouTube, you can see our beautiful faces at the Shade of It All and watch the full
Yes.
videos. And yeah, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.